Each an MBA aspirant or any MBA student who's watching this has his or her own insecurity. अगर आप एक MBA student हैं, I know आपके खुद के insecurities हैं, खुद के challenges हैं, which you know that you need to face, which you know that you need to improve upon so that you can do really well in your MBA and in your life ahead. And in this video, I will be sharing with you one such big challenge, big insecurity of mine, which eventually made me cry in my IIFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade interview back when I was an MBA aspirant in 2016. So allow me to share this experience and so that you can get inspired about how you can face any challenges which you're facing during your MBA. Hi, I am Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from IIM Udaipur, and let's get on with the video. Now, first things first, I would ask you to please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're somebody who feels that yes, you need to hear some things which will help you overcome any challenge, not just something which you're facing in your MBA, but any personal challenge which you may have. If you feel that you need this inspiration to overcome it, give me a like and hit subscribe on the channel. Now, whatever I'm sharing with you is what I share with my subscribers on Superheuristics. Those who attend my live workshops, I keep on sending them these informative emails about how you can do well in your MBA. So if you're somebody who's interested to join my newsletter called Full Stack MBA, do go ahead and watch any live workshop of mine, and the link to that would be in the description below. So what exactly had happened in 2016 when I was an MBA aspirant? Now, the thing is that when I was an MBA aspirant, I had calls from all the best B schools you can imagine. I mean, if I were to say to you very specifically, I had calls from some of the best schools out there, be it XLRI Jamshedpur, be it IIFT as I said, be it MDI Gurgaon, be it IIM Shillong, IIM Udaipur obviously, and all the other IIMs apart from that, all the other IIMs. So overall, if you see, I had around some 12 to 15 interviews to attend, lots of interviews apart from all of these. And I'm sure that all of these calls are the ones which any MBA aspirant wants to have. But the problem with me is that while I could crack any exam well, because it was a skill which I had, I used to study very well, but the problem with me, and this is what you need to know, this is why I cried in my IIFT interview, was that I have a speech problem. I stammer while I speak. Now, right now, while I'm speaking to you, you might not be able to see it, but then had you seen me as an MBA aspirant or as an MBA student, you would have seen that, okay, I'm in a very horrible place. And this is what the story is, that how I've improved from that place to this point wherein I can talk to you in a YouTube video and not stammer so much. So the story is that in all of these interviews, my very first interview was of IIFT on 16th Feb of 2017, because I had appeared for the exam in the end of 2016, and hence the interviews were in Feb. So IIFT was my very first interview, and I was really excited for it, as well as I was nervous for it as well, because I knew that yes, I do not have a very good experience of cracking interviews. So I went into that interview, and the first thing which happened was a GD, and my debacle in that interview or on that day had started to happen right from the GD point. That I knew for a fact that, okay, if I have to make anything happen in this GD, I should be the one to start it off. And when it started, I, in an attempt to just make my first hit and then stay quiet, I tried to start it. But the problem was that because I was stammering so much, I just said one or two words, after which I was not able to speak. After which I had to inform the invigilator that, hey, I have a speech problem. Obviously, to which she informed me that, okay, you can speak afterwards. others can speak for now. She had this impression that probably I was not able to form my answer. So that is why she asked me to stay put. Afterwards, yes, I did try to speak on a few occasions during the GD, but it was a very bad attempt at my end. But now was the time when I went into my personal interview room. And this is what happened to me in my personal interview room, that I was there and in front of me there were around three profs who were there, and I clearly remember this, that this prof was a old female, this prof was also a female, and this prof was a male prof. And the prof over here was a very senior prof, senior female prof. And yeah, so while I was trying to say all of my arguments in my interview, I was trying to give all of my answers. Now usually what you need to know is that in each of my interviews I always used to have A4 sheets, because my stammering was so bad that I could not even speak in the entire interview, and hence it used to happen that I used to have A4 sheets, so that when I start to stammer, I used to ask them that, hey, instead of speaking out my answer, will you allow me to just scribble my answers and show you, so that it can be more faster. And they used to obviously feel very this thing about it, that okay, what sense would it make? However, yes, they used to allow me. Now, this is what happened, that while I was scribbling and half-heartedly trying to speak one of the answers which these profs had asked me, this female prof, she stopped me, and she asked me one question, one very simple, innocent question, which was not even a question, it was more like an advice, but that completely crushed me. And from there, I knew that this interview is going nowhere for me, and that's where I cried. So she asked me one very simple thing. She said to me that, Darpan, why haven't you applied through the PWD category? Why have you applied through the general category? You should not have applied. You should have applied through the physically handicapped category. That is what she said to me. So, which instantly told me that my effort to speak was so bad, that entire experience, that entire interaction experience was so unproductive for them as well as for me, that she chose to in fact stop me and say to me that, hey, this is not going anywhere, you could have applied as a handicap. And very frankly, had I even been a part of that kind of a category, I personally feel that I would not have chosen to apply through the handicap category. I would have still, even if that category had the provisions of speech in it, I think I still would not have applied. I would have still applied through a general. The reason is because I know I can speak, and it's only in these kind of interactions when I'm inside an interview room that it completely falls apart. So after that statement, I answered a few more questions, and then the interview got over. And after the interview, when I was walking out, I found a place in the IIFT academic block, and I just stood there and I kind of cried over there. I was very sad about this fact that okay, I have studied for something for almost an year, and this is the final stage, that all of that hard work comes down to this one thing, that because I have this problem, because I am not able to communicate well, I am actually spoiling my chances, and it will not just happen at IIFT, it will happen everywhere else. And that is exactly what had happened. Every interview, so all of these interviews, you'd be surprised to know that either at all of these interviews, either I was said completely no, or I was in the wait list. There was not even one B school out of the 15-20 calls which I had, which said on the very first attempt that okay, you have been finalized for the admission. I was waitlisted. Now, even when I went to IIM Udaipur, you must know this, even at IIM Udaipur, I was waitlist number 700. So it was not that even at IIM Udaipur, I went into a straight, smooth entry. No, it was in the very last week when the classes were about to start that my waitlist had got cleared and I finally was able to be at IIM Udaipur. And even at IIM Udaipur, it was not a very smooth experience for me for my speech when I had started off. Inside the classroom, I never used to speak. I never used to raise my hand and give any answer, even if I knew the answer. And obviously, it built up my frustration. And then there is something very interesting which I was able to do. That one fine evening towards the end of my first year, I said that it's okay. If I can't speak well, it's perfectly fine. What I will do is that I will write it out. I'll start a blog. Earlier, I was writing my answers on a A4 sheet for those interviews. However, now I would write on scale and I would write a blog. And therefore, it is then when I started my blog, Super Heuristics, I started this beautiful blog of mine, which you should check out, superheuristics.com, which was basically a marketing blog when I started it off. And right now, I help MBA students get the best career outcomes without depending on their placement. So, if you're somebody who wants to explore the opportunities beyond your on campus placements, then this is the place for you to be. I have an entire community of MBA students who are chasing goals like off campus placements, freelancing, and even entrepreneurship. So, this is that community which I had created, and this is the blog where each week, whatever concept I had to speak about, I used to write one article on this blog each week starting from 2017. That is what I used to do. And creating this blog helped me a lot. Now, I'll keep that for a separate video wherein I'll explain you that how creating this blog helped me. But creating Super Heuristics gave me some skills, for example, SEO, search engine optimization. I learned how to do search engine optimization. So for example, I learned how to do SEO, I learned how to do Facebook ads, I learned how to do Google ads, I learned how to do email marketing. Lot of skills I had learned from this. And within the first year of starting this blog, my blog went viral across a lot of these schools. And through this blog, I was able to get freelancing assignments. Right when I was in my second year, I was having freelancing assignments from US, UK, where not. Also, even when my final placements had not started, I had job offers, I had off campus offers already in my hands. And right now, as I'm speaking to you, Super Heuristics is my entrepreneurship project. This is what I do full time. So, whatever my story has been, I help MBA students and MBA aspirants like you to create that story for themselves. So, which means that if you're somebody who's excited to explore this journey of exploring opportunities like off campus placements, freelancing, and entrepreneurship while you're in your MBA, then just scroll down and attend my next live workshop wherein I'll be explaining you how you can get started. And this was my story for you. So if you've enjoyed this story, if you've completely felt inspired, I would like you to go down and comment that what has been your takeaway from this video and what is the action which you're planning to take to overcome the challenges which you have. Because when you do things which give you the kind of confidence, that confidence will help you crush everything that is there in front of you. So I'll see you in the next video wherein I'll be sharing with you something more from my community. And if you're interested to read more such stories about how you can do well in your MBA, do attend my live workshop, after which you will also have the access to my newsletters as well. Thanks a lot and goodbye.